We're back in Cyberpunk 2077 taking a look at the patch 2.11. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. So let's go over the patch notes in what is new, what has been changed. There's a large install and or update part of this one, at least there was on the Xbox platform. It was kind of a little crazy. But yeah, this is a smaller update where it's more about quality of life improvements, changing some basic elements and fixing some quests here or there. Gameplay. Melee finishers will now work properly. Great. Fixed an issue where health items could become unequipped from the quick access slot after using consumables. It will now be possible to properly switch Z and W keybinds for ZERTY keyboards. When using the classic control scheme, performing dashes will no longer result in crouching. Fixed an issue where it was still required to use the F key default to interact even if bound to a different key. Binding the right mouse button to an action differing than aiming will no longer result in aiming and the new action occurring simultaneously. Axolotl cyberware will now also reduce cooldown when neutralizing an enemy non-lethally. The iconic contagion quick hack will now properly cause an explosion when combined with the overheat quick hack. Added PSOM 11-6 and Buzzsaw crafting specs for players who completed the required activities to acquire them, but they didn't drop. Fixed an issue preventing players from upgrading items to tier 5++ on Xbox. Skeleton cyberware will no longer get downgraded after requiring level 3 of the license to Chrome perk. Skill shards for skills that are already maxed out will no longer drop. The RAM cost for cyberpsychosis quick hack will now properly decrease after applying cyberware malfunction or an EMP effect. Killing NPCs who are drunk or using a brain dance will now properly trigger the police system. Fixed an issue where the RAM recoup cyberware was restoring less RAM than indicated by its description. Fixed an issue where fists would not have a chance to apply bleeding after reaching level 20 in the solo skill. Fixed the description for biomonitor cyberware so it now properly states that it heals you when health drops below 50% rather than 35%. It will now be possible to activate Sanvistan cyberware during holocalls if in combat. Fixed an issue where it was possible to get killed by a quick hack while Berserk is active, despite its feature ensuring that health cannot drop below 25%. Cyberware capacity will now be capped at 450. Cyberware exceeding the limit will be unequipped. Fixed an issue that could cause loot to float in the air as well as reappear in the same spot after picking it up, which is kinda comical. Quests in open world. Adjusted car chases so that they're not too frequent and don't overlap. That's very, very helpful. Fixed an issue where vehicles purchased on the AutoFixer website weren't added to the owned vehicle list even though the money was spent. Made it possible to obtain the BFC 9000 iconic weapon for players who missed the crashed AV in the Rancho Coronado. Fixed an issue where the animation of inspecting the Encart City Pass could be triggered inside an elevator, causing V to fall through. Fixed an issue where the message from Encart customer support that unlocks the metro wouldn't arrive even if the requirements were met. Fixed some instances where gigs could remain stuck as incomplete in the journal without any objectives. A day in the life. Fixed an issue where Daryl Zoo would instantly die after approaching the quest marker and speaking to him. Please note that the fix is not retroactive, meaning that you need to load a save prior to speaking to Daryl to be able to complete the quest. Well, that's annoying. Belly of the Beast. Fixed an issue where it wasn't possible to exit the basilisk after entering the tunnel. Cyberpsycho sighting. On deaf ears. Fixed an issue where it wasn't possible to collect the information required to progress because the shard wasn't present in the area. Don't lose your mind. Fixed an issue where after choosing to merge the Delamains, it wasn't possible to progress past the approach the car objective because the cab didn't spawn. Down the street. Fixed an issue where Takamura wasn't present when arriving at Wakako's pachinko parlor. Gig, bring me the head of Gustavo Orta. Fixed an issue where Gustavo would immediately become hostile after entering his office. Gig, bring me the head of Gustavo Orta. Fixed an issue where the guards would immediately attack the player after kicking the Peaceful Street Kid dialogue option. Picking. I really want to stay at your house. Fixed an issue where it wasn't possible to sleep in V's apartment bed while the quest was active. Psycho Killer. Improve the reward for neutralizing all cyberpsychos. Players that already claimed the reward can visit Regina and collect the new reward from the weapon crate. It's time for an upgrade. Reported crime dredged up. Fixed an issue where the trail that must be scanned to progress could be missing. Spellbound. Fixed an issue when the discounted price for the spellbook could be higher than the full price. Phantom Liberty specific, Black Steel in The Hour of Chaos. Fixed an issue where there was no objective in the journal entry because the objective to meet Reed at the abandoned hotel wouldn't appear. Black Steel in The Hour of Chaos. Fixed an issue where there was no dialogue options that would progress the quest when talking to Yoko. Firestarter. Fixed an issue where some weapons could become job items after being retrieved from the locker. Hi-ho, Silver Lining. Fixed an issue where it wasn't possible to talk to Mr. Hands in the Heavy Hearts Club because he wasn't interactable, or did not spawn for players who experienced this issue on 2.1. Just Another Story. Fixed an issue where vehicle contracts weren't spawning in some cases. Things Done Changed. Fixed an issue where the screen could go black after calling the nurse for players who experienced this issue on 2.1. Added an end credits message from Reed for endings other than the tower. Removed the possibility of installing attachments on the Catahoula iconic pistol. Fixed an issue where it was possible to activate the Sensory Protocol perk when it was on cooldown. Fixed an issue where it was possible to activate the Synaptic Accelerator Cyberware during its cooldown. It will now be required to have a cyber deck installed to benefit from Kagito Lattice Cyberware. Fixed an issue where the buff after exploding an enemy with the Detonate Grenade Quick Act did not match the description. UI changes. Added a radio port category in Settings Gameplay to customize radio port behavior. Enable Sync to Vehicle Radio to keep the music playing after exiting a vehicle. With cycle stations with button press, effortlessly switch between radio stations by simply pressing the radio port button without the need to open the radio menu. Enable Save Current Station to have the radio port resume playing the radio station upon loading a saved game. The data window that appears when scanning will no longer default to the hacking tab rather than data tab. Instead, it will now remember which tab was open last. Fixed an issue preventing players from changing cyberware at Ripper Docks and seeing the cyberware capacity bar. Added a pop-up message for when it's not possible to activate Sand and Vistan during holocalls. Like the non-iconic variants, iconic quick hacks will no longer have the duration displayed in their descriptions. Made small improvements to the appearance of the net sites. Visual. Neon lit rims for the Yaba Kasanga CT3X will now light up properly. Fixed shadows appearing on V's torso when wearing tank tops. Fixed dark shadows appearing on V's hands when holding some weapons with ray tracing enabled. The Devil and Judgment tarot cards will now be properly displayed on the endgame reward screen. Vehicles. Tire track marks will now match the actual contact patch of the tire. Adjusted suspension movement of some traffic vehicles to improve it visually. Motorcycle suspension has been improved to reduce visual clipping into the roads and curbs. Braking is also improved. Some vehicles, including cars and trucks, will now better handle landing from big jumps. Brake torque vectoring has been added to the drive model simulation. This change effectively reduces understeer on vehicles that previously used to suffer from excessively when hard braking while turning. Most noticeable on forward and rear/mid-engined vehicles. Returned or improved tuning in various vehicles. This includes the Mizutani Hazuku MH1, MH2, and Hazeki Villefort Delion V4000, or V400, sorry. V410 Coupe and Vindicator. Thornton Colby CST40, Mahir Supran FS3T, Civilian Centurion 1000, Quadra Type 66 Hoon, and more. Implemented various changes, well, small changes, to improve drifting in most vehicles. PC specific, added a hybrid CPU utilization setting which can be found under Gameplay Performance. Can be set either to auto, lets the operating system decide how to distribute among the cores, or prioritize P cores, prioritizes performance cores if it's set to auto by default. Implemented a fix that improves performance, especially on AMD RX Vega GPUs. MISC, or miscellaneous, added the Crystal Coat feature which allows you to change vehicle paint color. Because the technology was developed exclusively by Rayfield, it is currently only available for Rayfield vehicles you own. Controller inner dead zone has been changed to the new default values for players who didn't change them, as keeping the old default values could result in stick drift. Oh, that was annoying. Fixed an issue where the door in the Mega H10 apartment wouldn't automatically close in some cases. Red Mod updated the address list for modders. Anyways, that's the full list of patch notes for 2.11. If I do need some updated reviews, I guess let me know if you'd like to see that across the platforms. But liking the video is great, subscribing is great as well. And as always, I'll see you next time in Cyberpunk 2077. Oh, and check out my interviews with the voice actors, they're really cool!